5:03 is the Standard Time, New South Wales, Australia, pro-theologist. Now let's. I'm on the run, right? I've been working really hard. I'm on the run. Let's do the Jehovah Witness news. Jehovah Witness news. We'll see if we can cover a few things. News. We've got a lot going on in the background. First match. Okay, here we go. Warped Jehovah Witnesses bombarded a strange wife with disturbing messages. Let's have a look. Warped Jehovah Witness bombarded a strange wife with disturbing messages. Elwyn Roberts, 10 hours ago. Oh, this is fresh out. An obsessive and controlling husband has been jailed for stalking his estranged wife. A Crown Court judge told Mark Perry at About Jehovah's Witness that he had a warped mind and sought to justify his behaviour on the basis of his religious beliefs. We got the grandson in the background. It's all happening here. My old Crown Court heard that he faked a message from the police complaints body telling his wife to go to Ryle Police Station to identify his own body. On another occasion, Perry, 46, turned up as a refugee with a neighbour's child claiming to be a family member, trying to trick staff to tell him where his wife was. The defendant of Sandringham Avenue, Ryle, pleaded guilty to stalking at an earlier hearing and was today jailed for 32 weeks. An indefinite restraining order was made not to approach his wife. Judge Nicholas Parry said the stalking by the defendant had caused significant alarm and distress. He had bombarded her with disturbing messages. The messages, which quite clearly caused great distress, gave an insight into a warped mind, the judge said. One message purported to be from a police officer making reference to him being dead, and she was required to identify the body. You were clearly trying to instill in her a feeling of responsibility for that, said Judge Parry. It's no different to the shunning policy, isn't it? You will suffer until you bend to our way. That's how the shunning works. Suffer until you bend to our way in the Jehovah Witnesses and most other religions as well. It was abundantly clear that there was a background of controlling behaviour, and he continued even after he had a shot across the bows when he was served with the Domestic Violence Protection Order. Witness shocked and horrified as couple had sex in shopping arcade near passerby. Oh, this must be a different story. That one. He had used a child to try and deceive a refugee where she was being protected into giving his wife's whereabouts. You seek to justify your actions on the basis of your religious beliefs. Well, who doesn't? How many Christian and religious people today justify their behaviour on their beliefs? This was quite simply warped reasoning, said Judge Parry. He had no previous convictions. It was his first period of custody, but only immediate custody could be justified, he said. Perry, who appeared in court via a live television link from Outcourse Prison in Liverpool, put his head in his hands and wept when the sentence was passed. He admitted that between July and the beginning of August, he stalked Giselle Andre Perry and caused her serious harm or distress by sending texts and WhatsApp messages and trying to seek her whereabouts. What's that one? Woman lost the plot and attacked 14-year-old on bus. She lost the plot, all right. In one message, Perry told his wife, "Sorry for the suffering I've caused you over the years. I'm unravelling it with Jehovah's help." Gosh. Prosecutor Barrister Francis Wilmot said he poured coffee over her in July and the police were called. He poured coffee over her. And a DVPO was served on him. Well, any wonder. But when she was in a refuge, she revealed that she had endured threats and control, and she then received disturbing messages and texts. He said he was going to kill himself, accused her of being silly, and suggested that church elders be allowed to deal with the matter. In July, he took a child to a refuge and got the child to ask where his aunt was. In August, he sent her messages purporting to come to the IPCC saying he was dead and asking her to identify his body. Oh, gosh. She was suspicious and feared that had she turned up at the police station alone and as instructed, then she may have been kidnapped or assaulted. Arrested and interviewed, he claimed that the marriage was wonderful and she said he loved his wife. Well, she didn't love him, did she? In a victim impact statement, she told how his controlling behaviour was unacceptable. Her phone had been going all the time, which caused her distress. She worried about his mental health and now finally felt free of him, which made her happy. She was happier without him, in other words. How many of you women would be happier without the man that you're with? How many of you women would be happier without the man that you're with? Yeah. It's very quiet over there. I could be on thin ice here, viewers. I could be on very thin ice. Anyway, back to the story. Mr. Counts accepted it was troubling and a worrying case. At the time, he did not accept the relationship was over and set about doing things in his own way. Oh, it may have been that he was overly guided by his religious beliefs. What were the Jehovah Witness religious beliefs? They're not religious beliefs. They're deceptive beliefs. There's a difference between religious and deceptive beliefs. Although there are deceptive religious beliefs. Gets out of hand, doesn't it? Oh, gosh. It may have been that he was overly guided by his religious beliefs and that the strict code of conduct by which he lived his life, said Miss Coutts. While at the time he was doing what he thought was right, he now recognised that he should not have behaved that way. He now understands that it was inappropriate, worrying and a wrong thing to do, said Miss Coutts.
He lives in Minor, Jason. He said he just needs to try and get a lift to Narara.
No, it's all right. Okay, more news. I will always be with you. Serena Williams posts emotional message to her daughter. I'm not interested in that. Apostasy, the gripping drama about Jehovah Witnesses will make you angry. Sam Hales reviews a new film which has been written and directed by a former Jehovah Witness. God has commanded us to preach the good news to all. So on and so forth. Rachel Mitchell, a veteran sex crimes prosecutor, faces national glare in Kavanaugh case. Demons in Armageddon, detail emerging, naked kidnapping case. We've got to read this. Naked kidnapping case. Gosh. Demons in Armageddon, detail emerging, naked kidnapping case. Here we go. 3 people were arrested naked by Canadian police after kidnapping their neighbours and crashing their car into another vehicle where Jehovah Witnesses believed that they were escaping the end of the world according to court documents. They were escaping the end of the world. Oh gosh, these poor deluded people. The mind of these people. In a plea document obtained by the Canadian press, 2 women and a man admitted to kidnapping 3 people in the western province of Alberta last year, which brought a degree of clarity to the bizarre incident last November. One of the women also pleaded to dangerous driving. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police launched their investigation after they were called to the scene of a car crash in an industrial park in Nisku, south of Edmonton. They arrived to find a white BMW that had collided with a truck. Inside were 5 people, 4 of them naked, despite the centimetres of snow on the ground and temperatures that hovered around 10 degrees Fahrenheit below zero. According to the plea document, the episode began several days earlier when one of the women took her 2 teenage daughters to visit 27-year-old nephew and his 30-year-old wife, who lived in Leduc, Alberta. After 3 days at the house, during which the group barely ate, they came to believe that they had lived through the Great Tribulation. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Come on. The Great Tribulation, a period of suffering which some evangelical Christians believe heralds the second coming. Believing they were in imminent danger, the group fled the house. But why did they flee naked? But in their haste, none of the family except the mother managed to get dressed. Was the mother undressed as well? They must sleep naked, this lot, according to the documents. 4 who were naked were charging were changing, but they had to leave right away because it was unsafe, so they left without clothes, the plea document said. That's not what Jehovah Witnesses... They couldn't be Jehovah Witnesses because Jehovah Witnesses wouldn't do that. The group... imagine this. They're going to have to do a video on this to stop people from going to bed naked. The group piled into a BMW SUV which the mother drove through the garage door to then... These people must have been on drugs, but then decided they needed to rescue the neighbours as well. Rescue the neighbours? They nearly killed them. They forced a man into the trunk of their vehicle and made his adult daughter and her baby climb into the back seat. They did so because they believed that they were in danger either from a bad or wicked people outside or from demons, says the guilty plea. The BMW raced down the highway, blasting through a red light as its occupants chanted Jehovah over and over. Jehovah! Jehovah! Jehovah!
Oh, there we go. He says...
Yeah, and where was... Oh, Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah! And then they've hit a car. According to the document, the three neighbours managed to escape when the SUV slowed down and flagged down a passing truck. These people are supposed to be... Oh, gosh. This is what's happening inside these people's minds. Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah. According to the document, the three neighbours managed to escape. It's the middle of winter and people running around with no shoes on. You stopped to help them, Derek Scott, the truck driver, told CTV News last year. The neighbours climbed aboard the truck, but their relief was short-lived. The SUV rammed Scott's truck and both vehicles ended up in the snow-filled ditch. When police responded to the accident, they faced a group who displayed extreme strength and refused to leave the vehicle. According to the court document, one of the teens believed the officers were monsters who would kill them. Now, obviously, these Jehovah Witnesses have lost the plot. There's a little grandson, oh gosh! Anyway, police eventually resorted to using a combination of pepper spray. You can't do that to a Jehovah Witness! And tasers to subdue and arrest the passengers. Imagine watching a Jehovah Witness at the carts get tasered. Oh, this is great. Love this. At the time, police suspected drugs or alcohol might have been a factor in the incident. The father of the two teens, who wasn't present during the incident, told investigators that he fears the group might have consumed a hallucinogenic tea. That's just a lie and an excuse to cover up what they had thought to have been the tribulation. But according to the Canadian press, the plea document makes no mention of drugs or alcohol. The two teenagers were present during the abduction. The two teenagers who were present during the abduction were not charged. What other news have we got? We're not interested in Serena Williams. 3 Jehovah Witnesses who feared the end of the world was coming fled home naked and kidnapped neighbours. We just read that. Naked Jehovah Witness thought the world was ending. This is a big story, isn't it? It was like a cult. Former teen bride speaks out. Mrs. Anderson was born into a family Jehovah Witness and said she experienced many terrible... Oh, we've got to read this. There's obviously Mrs. Anderson, Abigail Anderson, the husband Dan, in happier times after her experience as a Jehovah Witness, which she claims is a cult. Is the Jehovah Witnesses a cult? Or are we a little bit slow off the starting block? Abby Anderson is a hard-working, bubbly member of many community committees, but behind the big smile is a childhood of dark secrets. Mrs. Anderson was born into a family of Jehovah Witnesses and said she experienced many terrible things during her time in what she describes as a cult-like religion. She said this included sexual abuse which was covered up by the religious community. I told Dad that this man had done something inappropriate, she said. I discussed it with my other young friends in the church, and they had similar experiences with this man. They just swept it under the carpet. Nothing ever happened. Her family was committed to their church first and foremost, and when Abby's teenage marriage broke down, she said they gave priority to their religious beliefs. Doesn't sound unfamiliar, does it? The religion. The phone. The religion was such an integral part of who my father was, I would never ask him to question his faith to associate with me, she said. These days, Mrs. Anderson is happily married to her husband Dan, and with their 3 children, she now has the strength and bravery to share her story. I've always been able to remain really calm in really oppressive situations. I credit my dad for that, she said. Mrs. Anderson recalls a time when she was 8 and went door knocking with her father. A disgruntled homeowner came out and aimed a shotgun at the pair. I remember Dad said, "I don't think they want the truth today," she joked. Mrs. Anderson had distanced herself and her family from the religion, and sadly her father has since passed away. Dad and I had got to a point where we respected each other's views, she said. I told him I will not be going back to the religion, and that was awkward. Jehovah's Witnesses do not get involved in politics, however, this did not stop Mrs. Anderson's father from voicing his opinion when she ran for a South Burnett Regional Councillor position. He phoned me and said, "I'm just ringing to let you know how disappointed I am that you are doing this," she said. "You think you are emotionally tough, but there still is that little girl who wants her dad to say, 'I'm proud of you.'" Well, that doesn't happen in the Jehovah's Witnesses very often. Since sharing her story, Mrs. Anderson has received lots of support, and people have shared their similar experiences within the Jehovah's Witness religion. One Facebook user wrote, "I was also a Jehovah's Witness growing up, and I agree with Abigail's statement. They bullied, gossiped, and treated my mother terribly." And if you're having troubles, there's some numbers for you to ring. And, well, what else is in the news? Hang on, where are we? The naked Jehovah's Witnesses, that's the big one at the moment. They lost the plot, didn't they? Car crash, Jehovah's Witnesses, Armageddon. What we do matters. And I think we'll leave it there. This is Dr. Jason W. Morrison, 5:27 on the run. Food all over me face, grandson in the background, family running in all directions. Trying to touch base with the viewers. Bye for now. Yeah, Dr. Jason Morrison, theologist again. I just want to say thank you for watching the videos, and I hope you got plenty of self-rediscovery and freedom out of it. If you watched it on YouTube, please share or like, maybe even comment. If you watched it on Facebook, like, comment, share. But most of all, get out and live. This isn't a rehearsal. You've got a one-off life. Don't let your loyalty and your faithfulness blind you to the life that you should be experiencing. Till the next video, thank you for watching, and bye for now.